What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel, however that may work for you. In a nutshell, for the first time viewer that might be out there and you're asking yourself, okay, what's this? I'm just a guy that's into tech. I'm into cameras, lenses, lighting, microphones, studios, computers, live streaming, setups, all that. I don't claim to be a guru or a genius or anything like that. I'm just a guy that's learning as I go. And like many of you, I'm learning on YouTube. Now, equally beneficial to video content is people in the comments, and I've learned a lot through people that just comment. I've had people tell me, hey buddy, turn your preamp down on your Rodecaster Pro 2 on your Shure SM7B. That's why you're struggling with your threshold on your noise gate, but that's a different video. And if you want to see it, that's there. However, this video, I'm doing a response video, and I'm going to actually try what this gentleman's asking me in the comments. His name is Jim A. James, or Jim A. James. He says, thank you. I have been having the same issue with the Godox ES45. I noticed that you didn't put a soft cloth over the front. I would welcome your thought on covering it at the front. For those of you that don't know what a Godox ES45 is, it's basically a key light, an LED panel that people use for live streaming or photo shoots, that kind of thing. Now, I have 3 of them here in my studio, and I found that the overspill of light off of it was just fairly nasty. Great product, great light, but however, in my environment, so I knew I had to do something. And I created a honeycomb grid made of art foam and hot glue. And Velcro, of course. You can see that video here if you want, and that is where Mr. James is commenting from. And he is right. And I actually thought about it because, look, I've got a Godox ES45 right over here. Sometimes I feel like this particular light gives a little too much exposure. Now, it may be fine. Right now, we are running at 7% on the Godox remote, which is a nifty feature about the Godox ES45, is that it does come with a remote where I can up the light. Right now we are at 20, 55%, and I'm pretty sure right here I'm really overexposed. So we'll go back down. Right here we are at 28%, and I'm looking at a monitor on top of the DSLR over here, and I think that's probably a little too exposed. We'll go on down, somewhere about, oh, maybe in this range. However, it looks like there still might be a hair of overexposure. I won't know until I look at playback, but that's only 3%. So what we're going to do is take Mr. James's idea, and we're going to add more diffusion. Now, for the record, full disclaimer, I have actually done this before. I own 2 LED lights. They were the very first 2 LED lights that I ever purchased, and they are absolutely terrible. We're talking no-name brand LED lights that have 0 diffusion, and you can see each little LED light going across the panel. They're just bad. But instead of throwing them away, I found a way to save them and use them as filler lighting. So basically, I had some old school softbox lights that were halogen bulbs, and I was going to throw those away. I took the front of those off, which is a white diffuser panel, and it's just a fabric. So I cut it, and I used 2 little blocks, put them together, and then stuffed it inside of these LEDs. Now I have one over here that will actually shoot the back of the wall, and I have one back over here that is actually lit up now. You can probably see it. I want you guys to pay attention to the wall behind me. I'm going to turn on my Godox ES45, which is the light we're going to add diffusion to, and I'm going to turn on the old LED light that I was going to throw away, but I found a way to save it. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Maybe you noticed, maybe you didn't, but there was a subtle change that took place in the background. So with the light that I saved, that I put the 2 slides of diffuser in there, I also wrapped it with a piece of a tank top to diffuse it more. And that's because on this side, if I don't, I'm not happy with the way the light hits. Even at its lowest setting, I think it's too hard. Now with the Godox ES45, that's on this side. I think that's perfectly fine for that. However, we're talking about the shot at the other table. So we're going to put a piece of tank top in that one, and we'll do a before and after. Currently, this thing is at 10%, and I am basically recording this strictly to have a demonstration of what the light looks like illuminating on the right side of my face. And for the record, this is what it looks like when I take my homemade honeycomb grid off of the light. As you can see, I'd imagine I'm a little more exposed than it was before, but we're going to take some of this tank top material here. I'm just going to kind of place it over it. I may not even have to cut it, but I think I will cut it because it's doubled up. So we're just going to use some scissors here. Begin to cut. Not sure if you got to go to college for this or not. The struggle's real. That's one side. Want to have a little excess, but I don't want to have a whole lot. I wanted to sit inside of the honeycomb grid and not have a whole lot of overlapping. There's construction going on outside. I don't know if you guys can hear that or if that's affecting the audio. Okay, so there it is. Now, basically what I'm going to do is just kind of like place it in the honeycomb grid, and then I'm just going to put it back on. I may even cut this seam piece off. Maybe we'll just leave it for now. Let's just see if it makes a major change. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a side-by-side comparison. So as soon as I get this back on the light, we're going to have the shot that I just took before this one. And then we're going to have the next shot, which is going to have this on top of the diffuser. And we will see what the difference is at 10% on the unit. So stand by. Turns out that I need a way to secure it to the honeycomb grid. So I'm just going to use some duct tape. We're not going to get it too fancy. We're just going to duct tape it on so that it doesn't fall down when I put it up. Now, if I wanted to get really fancy, I could go grab a hot glue gun, hot glue it in place. But we're looking to see if it makes a major change first. So we're just going to use some duct tape, kind of secure it in place, and then I'm going to put it on that. One thing I wanted to point out too, real quick, is that if you look to this side of the wall over here, after I took the honeycomb grid off, that's what I mean by light spill. For anybody that doesn't understand what that term means. So basically the point of the honeycomb grid is to stop that light from spilling so much over into either direction. You basically want to create almost like a tunnel, a light tunnel that just focuses on the subject, right? Which would be me, or if I was showcasing something, you want to kind of have it controlled, so to speak. All right, let's put this thing on there and see what it does. So there it is. I have applied the honeycomb grid back to the light. It also has obviously the tank top in it. So that's going to soften that light up a good bit. We're still at 10%, just to show you guys for the record so that you know where we are. Now, I would imagine that I can probably turn this light up a little more. Maybe something to this effect. Right now we're at 15%, maybe a little more. Something like this, 18%. I see that the wall's getting a little bit of overspill, but not enough to matter. So to give you the idea, we're going to put these side by side and let's see what these look like side by side. Yeah, I see it. I mean, look, subtle changes are still changes. And to some of us, we'd be like, that's not so subtle. I didn't change the Kelvin on the lighting system. It's exactly where it was. And yet my face looked a little more natural in color versus like the hard color that was coming in. Also the overexposure that was happening right here under my eye socket. So was it worth it? I'd say so. I'm going to keep it. Anything you can do to make an improvement, big, small, doesn't matter. Do it. So Jim James, or Jim A. James, thank you for the question. And thank you for reminding me that I need to do that with my Godox ES45. And by the way, if you enjoyed this video, if you learned anything useful, anything like that, be sure to give me a subscribe. Drop me a comment, let me know your questions, input, whatever it is that you have, put it down below. Be sure to hit the bell for notifications and all that jazz. If you see anything in my studio that you like, check the links below in the description. I have a store on Amazon that pretty much has almost everything in here listed in that store. So if you see something that I have here that you like, just click that, go check it out. I get a little commission. I can't buy a Corvette off of it. It'd be really cool if I could though. But anyways, I'll see you next time. You guys take care.